guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. My name is Josh, the owner of Exceed Designs and the designer of the Rampant. Super exciting to show you this, guys. Super excited to release this product, and it's one of the most exciting products that I've actually ever worked on. You see, I've always loved flashlights, probably since I was a kid, to be honest, but I've always wanted to design one that just worked. Something that was simple, minimal, clean, from the inside out, something that really fit with what I wanted. Something that I could ramp up and down. I didn't have to cycle through modes. Honestly, so many flashlights and their complicated UIs really just piss me off. It's just so frustrating. You're constantly trying to get it to go, and it's literally strobing in someone's eyeball. Okay, it's annoying. Like, we've all experienced that. But what if I could just dumb it down so much that this UI could be so simple that you could literally do it with your eyes closed, asleep? That's what I wanted to create with the Rampant. And the name Rampant comes from ramping. I want to be able to ramp up and down. It's mainly the UI that I think is so important with this, that just makes it a winner in the end. The easy thing about this is the functionality. Click on the back, turns it on. Double click down, moonlight mode. Double click up, boost mode. And you click that double click down, and this is when it gets really exciting. You see, I've always loved rocker switches, but I've never actually found a flashlight that does it like this, and especially not as good as this. You just press forward, it ramps up, you press down, and it ramps down. And guess what? You can get it just perfect, like right where you want it. You turn it off, and every time you turn that light back on, it's right where you left it. And that's just the beauty of the memory that we have on this EDC mode. So basically, double click it up if you can't wait, double click it down if you just want moonlight mode, and you can just get it just to the right. You know, usable light is so much better than just all the way on or all the way off. And I think being able to basically control that light to get that perfect luminosity that you're looking for is just a beautiful thing. So that's what I love about this, and it just works. I've been using this for probably, it's over a year now. I've been testing these prototypes, and I have to say, like, I don't even want to go back. And I have a lot of other flashlights I use. You know, there are lights that also produce more lumens that I have, that's fine. But the beauty with this is the light is controllable and usable, and it puts it right where you want it, and you can get it to where you want without having to cycle through a bunch of modes. You see, when you turn this thing on, some of the ramping flashlights, you have to lift up and you press again and then it goes down, and you press again and then it goes up. That's kind of what Sofrin uses, but what I love about this is it's just easy. You just press forward or back and you can just ramp it right where you like it, and it's always there. This button right here is recessed slightly to keep this from turning on you, like if you stick it in a bag. I think it works really well though, still, even with that being said. Is there a moonlight lock? Some people want to know. Well, you just go like this, double click down, you're in moonlight mode, and you just turn it off. So even if this gets clicked on, even if something happened in your bag, you're storing it, and it got clicked on, this will last for literally days in this mode. So you're gonna be just fine. You're not gonna burn a hole in anything as long as someone doesn't click this up at the same time as this, but the chances of that happening are pretty crazy. So moonlight lock mode, that's great. Titanium pocket clip here, that's a really cool feature. We also have multiple links, so you can really customize this. But one feature that is very exciting is actually this bezel. This bezel, using what I like to call the Rampant key, which I'll grab one right over here. This really cool T-handle key right here uses a very minimal, so I've got this really cool bezel right here that I designed with two small little holes. And a lot of, you know, I was working with a designer on this too, and they were like, oh, we could put this shape or this thing, and I was like, I want to keep it minimal. And I probably did like 3 prototypes trying different keys and different styles, but this works so much better. So we put this little key right in, you just index it. You can see right there, it's in those little holes, and you literally just go like this. Boom. There is your TIR reflector, which can be swapped out to another, to metal reflectors, which we have. We have sapphire glass plus the metal reflector as well that's available. So now you can kind of see inside. It might be a little bit hard to see with the lighting here, but there's a copper pill also that's pressed into every single one of our titanium R4s and R8s. And the reason for that is I had a lot of problems with thermal issues with these things. Like, they were heating up so bad, you could barely even touch them. And you know, I want a lot of lumens, but titanium is just in general not the best for shedding heat. But with a copper pill, we've been able to get this wall thickness around here a lot thinner, and actually heat can escape around this hole as well, getting out through that copper pill that gets pressed in here due to the titanium being a lot thinner in this area, but still very rigid. So that's a really, just a cool feature. And now we want to put this back in. You got to make sure all the seals are in their correct spots. Stick that in there. Boom, make sure it's not cross-threading. There we go. Tighten that up good, firm and tight. Turn it back on, back in moonlight, still in that memory mode, back to boost if we want it to be in boost. And this is actually the one I have right here is the Nichia 519A with the anodized Works Edition buttons. I think this one's almost sold out, probably will be sold out by the time I finish this video or get it posted. But this is a really, such a simple light. But there is another mode that I have, which is actually pretty exciting. It's called Tactical Mode. I gotta give a huge shout out to Dominic over at Max Level EDC because he actually messaged me and said, I love what you're working on. Super cool rocker switch. Love the Ramper UI, but I really think you need a tactical mode. And I was like, oh man, do we really need that? He's like, yes, I think you really need a mode that will always be on boost mode. If it's sitting somewhere, it's always gonna be on boost mode when you pick it up. And I said, okay, fair enough. And actually, after using it a bit, it's actually been growing on me a lot. While I still probably prefer the EDC mode just for most everyday scenarios, this boost mode, tactical mode is actually a really cool mode. Now the beautiful thing about that is this will always be on boost mode anytime you pick it up. But if you tap this 10 times, you will actually change the flashlight into tactical mode. So we're gonna stick this one in the tactical mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it blinks. And now we're in tactical mode. So this will be in tactical mode for as long as you want it to be until you do those 10 taps yet again. So we're in tactical mode. Anytime you turn this on, after waiting 10 seconds, it will always be tactical mode. Boom, all the way on. Boost mode immediately. Boost mode first, and then conserve mode. Boost mode and conserve mode. The cool thing that I really like about that, and it's actually been growing on me because the EDC mode is still like kind of my favorite just because I like something super, super simple. But this tactical mode really is growing on me, and the reason why is because anytime you want to grab this light, you want it to be in tactical mode, you will have it in tactical mode. Or if you're trying to illuminate a subject, tactical mode, boom, you get to see your subject, whatever you're looking at, and then one extra second click, then you can click it or just hold momentary, and now it's in this really nice conserve mode. It's like the perfect amount of light that you would need to see anything. I mean, it's just perfect, but you're not burning up your battery. And so that's what's really nice about tactical mode. Now, there's a couple other things with tactical mode. Let's say you still want to be ramping up and down, because that's a feature I really like. So we actually implemented this into tactical mode to where you just turn it on, double click down, it goes into moonlight mode. And then you can ramp from there anywhere you want. But there is gonna be no memory on this mode because remember, it's always gonna be boost mode when you go back into that menu. So we can ramp around if we want, get it to where we want and adjust that light, keep it there, cool, turn it off. Once we wait 10 seconds, that will go right back to that boost mode. So basically, it's just kind of like if you want to still access the ramping mode, you just double click down, get to your ramping, goes in moonlight, back up and down. If you want to lock this thing in moonlight though, double click down, and then you're going to click 5 times down again after it's in the moonlight mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to blink like that, and now it's in moonlight mode. Turn it off. It's always in that moonlight mode again, but it's still in tactical mode. It's just locked in that. So that's really, honestly, kind of nice. How do you get it out of this moonlight lock mode? You turn it back on, forward and backward. And now you're back again to tactical mode, boost and conserve, boost and conserve. So that basically is the tactical mode in a nutshell. There is a strobe, SOS, and a beacon, and you access that by turning this on, and you basically triple tap forward, 1, 2, 3. Now it's in a strobe mode, another 3, 1, 2, 3, and now it goes into like a beacon mode, or sorry, 3 and 3 is gonna get you in and out of that beacon mode. So 1, 2, 3, beacon mode, 1, 2, 3, out of it, 1, 2, 3. If you want to change that, or strobe, sorry, and if you want to go to a beacon and SOS, you just hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, boom. Now we're in this mode, beacon, and now we're gonna go into SOS mode. We hold it for another 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, SOS mode. So this is just kind of nice if you do ever need it, but it's harder to get to because I just don't really like it when strobes are accidentally going off and annoying me, and that's actually why I like the EDC mode a lot, but this is hidden enough to where you're not going to actually accidentally activate it. It's just very simple. Tactical mode, in a nutshell, is basically just boost mode and conserve mode, and that's basically it, with access to, with a double click down, ramping mode. If you want it, turn it off, back to boost mode. So if I want to turn this thing back to EDC mode, and I don't want to keep going back and forth to these 2 modes, I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it clicks back 10 more, and now we're into EDC mode again. And we can ramp up, we can ramp down, and we can ramp up. Double click down moonlight, double click up boost. So that's basically your UI function. Pretty simple. If you don't want to deal with the tactical mode, just keep it in EDC mode, or if you want to have that boost always on demand, stick it in tactical mode. Just something I really, really love about this flashlight. Being able to have those two modes, the flexibility that you get, the minimalism of a UI on the EDC side, super, super nice for just everyday tasks, everyday carry. But if you want that tactical mode, that's also a very simple tactical mode that's not going to confuse you. It's very, very simple. Still has strobe if you really have to have it, but really neat about that mode is you're going to keep just the simplicity that we have with this whole light. Guys, let me just show you what's inside the box here of an R4. So first of all, it's going to come with a nice case right here. Open that guy up, lift it up, and you've got the flashlight right here. This is the aluminum raw edition that I opened up here. It's actually going to come with two gaskets right here. So that's going to be a gasket for right here and a gasket for the front. So you're going to have two gaskets that come with each of these, and you're going to have two titanium screws. Now, don't lose these titanium screws. They were actually very expensive to machine. I had to have a company do these. Each one is precision machined for a T8, and it will match the screw inside of your light. And we'll just pull this guy out right here so you can see this is what's inside of the box. This is your box right here. You can also take this out and get your light started by opening this up and removing this little plastic protector right here. The light will not function without doing that, so make sure you do that before you start operating the light, and then you can get this guy tightened up nice again. And just so you're aware, if you don't like the alignment of this button, you can always switch this to another location. There will be a gap right here. If you don't want a gap, you'll just want to remove this and just kind of bend it just slightly down. But the nice thing about having this gap is you can loosen these up, swivel this without scratching your housing. And then when you're ready, you can bend this just a little bit with the finger, or use some pliers with some soft material between those so it doesn't scratch the clip. But yeah, that's this. This is the raw aluminum right here. Aluminum on everything but the clip right here, which is titanium. So guys, I want to talk a little bit about the extras that you can get with it, the customization possibilities, and just some of the options that we have. There's some options right now on exceeddesigns.com. If you check it out, click learn more, scroll down on that page till you get to the Rampant flashlight. That's where you're going to find these options. Some of these are in very low supply. I think some of them I only have like 20 or 30 of each. I custom built these with some different variations, such as the Works Edition right here with bronze on the accent pieces for the rear button, the clip, the rocker, and the front bezel. So that's kind of bronze with the stonewashed titanium. That one is very nice. However, probably my best and favorite go-to right here is this guy, the stonewashed titanium, just all stonewash. These screws are actually T8s, and they are true titanium, as well as everything on this titanium one. The screws are titanium on all of them, including the aluminum ones, and the clips are all titanium on everything, including aluminum variants. So for example, this guy right here, we've got anodized blue. This is an option we also have for the anodization colors. We've got some purple, blue, we have bronze, a bunch of different options that you can get on the website. We even have some black. I think I need to add this one on there, but it'll probably be on there soon. So you can basically customize this clip for full length or a mini clip length, which is the one that's stock on the R4, but you can also do that on the R8. They're both cross compatible. This clip is actually floating on a collar right here, and this clip can be oriented any direction. We ship them indexed to the button right here. So you just click up, up, down, they're just indexed. It's just kind of a nice, I personally prefer this, but there are a lot of people who message me in the beginning and they're like, oh, I don't want the clip index there, please switch it. And then we actually had a lot of problems indexing this clip point with this button, and people, you'd tighten it up and it would be a little bit off and it would just look terrible. And I just got so sick of it, I decided, we need to solve this problem. And this actually created a really cool opportunity for another customizable feature that is very simple. These screws right here, there's two T8s, and these guys right here can be loosened up. Each of them loosened up, and then this floating clip ring can literally swivel any way you want it. So we just kind of just make sure it's loose enough. Sometimes you have to go back and forth, make sure they're both loose, and now look at this. This could swivel any way you want it. So you can have it right here, you can have it indexed, let's say you're a type of guy that wants it just like this. So you got the button on this side and the clip here. Just hold that down, and you want to be careful. You don't want to tighten it too much, but just tighten here, go back to the other one, make sure they're both similarly tight. Don't give it too much force. It could, you could cause a problem. But now we've got it on this side, and now, as you can see, you can hold it like this, and your ramper is right here, but your clip is on the opposite side. Just a really cool way to just customize this light just for you. One thing I just want to show you guys though is if you notice right here, the clip has a gap, and this clip gap that you see right there can be adjusted pretty easily by taking this clip off, and then you basically take the clip and you basically just bend it just lightly with your finger, or if you need pliers with something that will prevent it from getting scratched, you can just do that. You can just bend it down a little bit, and this will give more pressure. But I just leave just the slightest little gap on here so that when you're swiveling it to get it to your correct position, you're not going to scratch this housing. If this is touching, when you adjust it, there's a chance this can scratch this housing when you spin that around, and I don't want that to happen. So as you can see here, we now have this oriented like this, and it's kind of a nice way to hold it. Double click up, got our boost mode, we'll just ramp it down. I just love that. And you just turn it off. And so both of these have the same feature. So you can loosen these two screws up, swivel this thing anywhere you want, tighten them back down, and you're gonna get this thing tight in any position that you want it to be. So that's the clip. One thing I just really want to show you guys is just all of these different options. So you basically have got this aluminum, which is aluminum kind of light stonewash. I actually, weirdly enough, it's kind of grown on me, but it's just a really nice, just feels so smooth in the hand. It's just raw. There's a raw aluminum one as well that's a little bit more polished at first, but it kind of, they both kind of end up looking quite like this. Here's the difference between the mini clip and the full clip on the R4. So you can kind of just see how that looks right there. We also have a stone-washed aluminum version. It's kind of rough looking. It is, it'll patina and it's gonna polish in probably fairly nice, but this is just an interesting option. And this one right here, we actually convert these to this. If I decide that someone wants to buy one of these, it just takes a little bit of work to get this one polished up to look like this. But those are the two options we thought we'd give people. The R8 right here, this is the much larger variant, much more battery capacity. That's really what you're getting, and a little bit more lumens, but honestly, in the majority of it's gonna be your battery capacity, and so I'm not even really trying to talk up the lumen capacity added. It's honestly more for capacity that you get this light. So charging on these, on all of them, is very, very simple. You're gonna take this off, and there will be a little tiny piece of plastic here that will prevent this from activating in shipment. But you take that off, and now your light's gonna work. Basically, there's a USB-C charger right here. It's a little cable. You're gonna need to get a cable. I'm gonna be including these with each for free. So everyone's gonna get a cable, but you're gonna need to supply the charging block, and that's also on our listing. But all of them will come with a USB-C rechargeable battery inside of the housing, and you'll just screw that right back. And I kept purposely any exterior charging ports or anything. I didn't want to do that, just because it's another possibility for something to break and water gets in there, and it's just, yes, you can get them waterproof, but after it rubs off that coating, you have a potential failure spot. So these are just very minimal, but USB-C charging on the battery. However, you can upgrade to this guy right here, which is actually one of my favorite cells. It's a VAP cell, 4,000 milliamp hour for the large flashlight here. And this one is going to require the purchase of a USB-C charger that will work with the 18650. You can't just throw it in any charger. You have to have a charger specifically for these high capacity lithium ion batteries. And so you're gonna wanna grab one of these off the website, or maybe you can go on Amazon and get one that you like better, but this will charge these higher capacity batteries, as well as the VAP cell F12 for the 14500 light. So this cell, it really does give you a lot more capacity for one of these lights, and I actually think that is probably the way to go. But the USB-C is just so convenient. They're cheaper, but they have to add this extra area for the USB charging inside of it. And so yes, they're gonna have a little bit less capacity. You can buy multiple of these if you want on the website, or these, and I even have F15s coming, hopefully sometime next year, that are gonna be 1500 milliamp hour, and that's actually a huge leap forward for 14500 batteries. I'm quite excited about that. So those are some options. We've got the black with anode titanium feature buttons. That's a really cool one. And then just the all black. This one's only gonna have titanium clip as the titanium feature, but black everywhere else. That's a really cool variant. The raw, this one, I mean, both of these are these raw, but they are just beautiful, beautiful flashlights. Just really, really cool if you just want something really fancy to carry. They'll patina in nicely. They're gonna scratch a little bit, but they're gonna look honestly quite nice. I have one of these I've been carrying for about a year now, and boy, it still looks really nice. So those are really nice. Stonewash though, Stonewash titanium is always just gonna be my go-to, my favorite. That's definitely the one that I would go with if you can't make a decision on that. We've also got some really cool leather sheaths. This is made in the USA 100% with Horween leather, which is a very high-end leather used by the National Football Association for their official NFL footballs. Very, very, very nice leather. You can just, smells amazing and fits either the R4 really nicely, as you can see right here. Fits really nice, and you just clamp it right down, and it just, you can see kind of the pull up there of that leather. It just looks so good. And these are just really nice little cases just to hold your guys, or you can stick your belt right around there, and that's gonna be your belt loop. So we've got those, and then we've got black as well, and this will fit either the R4 or the R8. So pick one of these up if you want something really nice to carry your light in. There's that, and then we latch that in, and that's, yeah, really, really nice little leather case right there. And yeah, there's some other accessories on there. We've got like chips that you can actually buy. So you can actually, one really neat thing about this is if you're a professional DIYer, I don't just tell this just to everyone, it will require soldering. It's gonna be frustrating if you've never done it before, so I would highly advise only doing it if you're into modding flashlights and you understand what you're doing. But you can buy these chips right here to swap into your flashlight with that easy mechanism that I showed you guys, which is actually one of the real cool things about this flashlight. You just stick your key in there like this, and be careful that you don't let it slip out or scratch your bezel, but boom, just like that, and you can literally take this whole thing apart and you have access right here. And believe it or not, this is still IP68 waterproof when this is properly tightened with proper seal fitment. Stick that right on there and make sure it's seated properly. Make sure you're not cross-threading anything. Get that tightened up nice, and boom, back again, back going again, and you can literally swap chips out with soldering potential. But the biggest thing that you're gonna probably be doing is swapping these. Now these are, I use these for photos, so they're probably getting super smudged right now, and it's a terrible idea. You gotta be careful with those because they can get smudged. But basically, to swap these out, you open this guy up, take that out. We'll take this little reflector piece that we purchased, drop that right in. It'll kind of seat in there. Sometimes you have to kind of get it seated, or that little black centering piece might come off. Take that off, stick this glass right on top, and of course that's terribly smudged, so I would never advise doing it like this fast, but basically this at least gives you the gist of it. You kind of just center that over, make sure the glass is kind of centered there so this collar fits around it, and look at that, first try. We're good to go. Now you've got a reflector optic. So you can switch that to the reflector optic, the metal one, or the TIR. Literally, I just did it in literally less than a minute, and it's centered very nicely there. And now you've got a whole different type of beam angle, a little more centered. So your reflector is gonna give you a more focused center beam with some spread still. The TIR is just a It's a really beautifully tuned TIR. This is gonna give you a perfect spread in either direction. It's very usable. You will need the RampantKey for either the R4 or the R8 to do these swaps, and these can be purchased on our website for a reasonable price. You can switch to the lab-grown sapphire crystal if you want, or mineral glass. Either one is super durable. The sapphire is very durable, and sometimes you'll notice a little bit of a blue hue on the light when you shine it at something. That's kind of just cool. It's definitely bragging rights, but does it really make the light that much better? Maybe like 1 to 2% better translucence of light through that medium, but honestly, it's just a very cool thing to put on your flashlight. But the mineral glass will work fine, or the TIR. Now, TIRs are great, but a lot of times they get scratched up and you need to replace them, and that's just what's really cool about this. The TIR will give you a better up close spread. It's a very smooth, even light that'll just really give it right where you need it, very evenly and very nice. However, if you want a little bit more focused in the center, so you want to punch the light further, but not as much just spread in front of you, you're going to switch to the reflector. And that's what's really nice about this. So you have two choices, really, but the glass, you have up to 2 different types of glasses as well, the sapphire or the mineral glass. So you go with whatever you want, but you can always switch it. If you don't like one, you can switch this out so quick. It's literally less than a minute. So what would you advise on LED? A lot of people are asking me, which chips should I choose? The SFT or the Nichia 519A? Like, what do I choose? Well, I would say definitely these are the differences. So the SFT40 is going to give you a very good distance light. So it is a light that is already de-domed, and what doming means is there's a little dome on top of the LED, and I'll try to show you guys here, but basically a dome is going to be present on the top of this little centerpiece right here, and when that dome is basically not present, this is what they calls it a de-domed LED. So the SFT40 by Lumens is a de-domed, factory de-domed version of a SST40 actually, and it has a really nice tint of light as well. A lot of people really like it, and it really does give some good distance. So this is a really good distance light, and this guy right here is a Nichia 519 that's actually been de-domed. So I actually removed the dome on that, and that's an option on the website. The light gets a lot warmer, and it does reduce the lumens by a bit. So you're gonna get less lumens out of it, but it will go further, and it will give this really nice kind of rosy light that I love it. I personally love it. I'm not all about just the brightest light out there. In fact, I have a ton of lights that I don't even want to use because the light is just so bad. It just explodes the subject with light, and it washes out all the colors, and nobody really likes that, honestly. And I don't think after using any light that truly has a high CRI like the Nichia 519A, you're going to be seeing the same thing I am. It's just a pleasure to use. It's just a beautiful, clean light. It's just awesome. So I would definitely advise HiRC with any flashlight if you can get one, and that's what we put in every single one of these with the Nichia 519As. So honestly, Nichia, in my opinion, is just the best all-around option, or the de-domed variant of that. But then also the SFT is really nice if you're just trying to punch through stuff and you're gonna want the light to go further, go with that. So those are basically your differences and options on the emitters. How much time can I keep this thing on bright? And let me just explain that. So we've got a couple of those battery options. I know I showed this before. We got the 4,000 milliamp hour, or the 3,400 milliamp hour for the 18650, and for the 14,500 we've got the 920 milliamp hour, or we've got, let me take this guy out, we've got the Bezel F12 1250 milliamp hour. And obviously self-explanatory, but the higher the milliamp hour, the better it is. This is going to be for the R4, which is the most popular flashlight right here. You're going to want to go with this one if you want max output. These still are going to be just fine, but they're definitely not going to last as long. These, I'm usually keeping my flashlight on a medium or low setting, and that's what I'm just going to recommend because that's going to last the longest, but I can use this thing up to a week, sometimes 2 weeks on an everyday basis when I'm using it on a lower setting with a fully charged one of these F12s. I can also use this for probably a week or so, maybe a little bit less if I'm using it 3 to 5 times a day on a medium to low setting. However, if you're like me and you love boost mode, that will drain the battery a lot more. So be careful when you're using it in boost mode, because that will reduce the battery. That's a max output. It's draining the battery. It's using the buck driver to push this thing the most possible in that mode. So if you keep that, if you like boost mode and you're constantly keeping it in boost mode, this is a very small profile flashlight and you will drain the battery a lot faster. I'm hoping to get official specs. I'm still doing some testing on these for each mode, and I'm hoping to give like an hour rating for each mode and exact minute rating for each mode. But you will drain the batteries in boost mode. 1300 lumens is a lot to push out of just a 14500 battery and a small profile like this, but that's what I love it, is you do have that option. You can always put it in boost mode if you want, but just keeping it in a usable light. You know, you don't need so much light. If you just keep that around, you know, just a medium setting that's right around that 600 to 700 lumens. If you need more, even 300 to 400 lumens, it's gonna last a long time. You're not gonna really notice it just going dead, but if you're constantly putting it in boost mode all the time, you will notice that it will go dead a lot faster. I mean, you can easily drain it in a day just using it on boost all the time. But one thing I do like about it is you've got your rechargeable ability, your USB-C on this, or you grab one of these chargers, charge both at the same time, and you get the F12 1250 milliamp hour for the 14500. I actually do have 1500 milliamp hour F15s coming from Bezel, and hopefully those will be available maybe later this month or next month. They'll hopefully be on the site by the time some of you guys are watching these, but it's gonna be a little bit later by the time we get those F15s. Those are gonna be really good, but the F12s will do the job just fine. And yeah, so those are the battery options we've got here, and definitely recommend going with the higher milliamp hour if you're at all worried about battery life. So a lot of people have been asking me, okay, I see all these different chip options that I can buy for this thing, but just tell me how many lumens does each one produce? And so that's a little bit of a tricky question, because depending on the battery you have, depending on the charge, it's always gonna change. But I'm just gonna go with the max lumens, and I'm gonna show you guys, this is what we're testing this on right here, this Texas Ace lumen tester, and I've actually tested this with the Phoenix, a couple of different Phoenix lights to kind of make sure that it's tuned right and it's giving me an accurate percentage. It's giving me lower personally from what I've seen. A fully charged Phoenix that's estimating on their website around 1600 lumens is giving me closer to 1400 to 1500. So I tested that on this guy. I tested the Nichia 519A, consistently got with a fully charged F12 battery. I haven't tested the F15s yet, which are supposed to be a little bit more powerful, but basically the driver is gonna give you the same no matter what. That's just mainly capacity. But with the F12s, I was able to get a little bit more than with these. I'm not sure if that's just the battery output level or something to do with that. But basically I was able to get right around the 1300 lumens, 130 lux times 10. So 1300 lumens on the Nichia 519A. And so that'll be your domed 19A. If I de-dome that, it's getting a lot closer to only 800 lumens, maybe a little bit more sometimes on max. And that's a fully charged battery, you know, without any use on that battery. That's what you're gonna get with that. However, if you're gonna go for the SFT40, which is just, it's gonna push the light really, really far. That one is giving me close to 1000 to 1100 sometimes. It just depends on the battery charge. Some batteries even give me just a little bit different of a reading. I've tested back and forth quite a few times, and that's right around that 1000 mark, I would say, 1000, 1100 plus mark. I've gotten it to show up at like 1150 lumens, but basically I would just say right around 1000 for that, but it's gonna shoot that light a lot further. But the Nichia 519A is definitely an impressive, you know, very close, if not more than 1300 lumens. And once you use it, it is going to deteriorate a little bit. Let's say you use this light for a couple days, like you're gonna be right around, you know, 1000, getting closer to 800 lumens. And as it diminishes, it'll get lower and lower. But the good thing is you can get a lot of light out of that emitter right at the beginning, and there is a really nice boost of light, especially in that tactical mode if you want that always in that boost mode. However, boost mode is still available in EDC mode with a double click up on the top, so that is still very nice. Both modes very usable. And yeah, so if you have any questions though, please let me know in the comments section. I will try to answer everyone. I've been going crazy trying to answer questions, so just give me a little time to get back to you. Lots of people have been commenting, but I will do my best, and thank you very much and have a nice day.